The Islamic Revolution was in 1979. After that, in 1980, it became obligatory to use veils at schools for women. Also, all bilingual schools closed down, and boys and women were separated. There were demonstrations for and against the veil. The protagonist of this story is a little girl called Margie Satrapi. She was only 10 years old when this happened. She was sure she was chosen by God to be the last prophet. Influenced by the Holy Book, only her grandma knew and believed in her. Being woman and the last prophet was something hard to believe in. The year of the revolution, she participated by demonstrating in her garden, but she put her prophetic destiny aside for a while. Finally, after 25,000 years, the revolution has awakened the people of tyranny and submission. Her parents used to bought her a lot of books, so she read a lot about revolutionaries and revolutions. Her favorite book was a comic book called Dialectic Materialism. There was this Rex cinema that was burned down. The police forbade people to rescue those locked inside. Then they attacked them. There were like 400 victims. Margie wanted to go to real demonstrations, but her parents didn't let her go. Things started to degenerate. Demonstrations every day. Army shot at them and they threw stones at the army. Margie believed the king was chosen by God, but sadly, the father of the Shah organized a putsch to overthrow the emperor and install a republic. The British took advantage and, promising him the title of emperor, they took all the oil. The emperor overthrown was her grandpa's father. Her grandpa was a prince, but the father of the Shah confiscated everything he owned and he was named prime minister. He began to meet intellectuals and so he became a communist who was often sent to prison, put in a cell filled with water for hours. As the Shah's father took everything her grandparents owned, they lived in poverty. When the Shah succeeded the king, he exalted Cyrus the Great and invested the country's money into ridiculous celebrations and other frivolities that caused the revolution. Her father used to take photos of the demonstration. It was forbidden, so he had been arrested once. During that period, she read a lot. Her favorite author was Ali Ashraf Darbishan. By reading him and being part of her mate's impossible romance with her neighbor's son, she finally realized the reason for the revolution, the difference between classes. After that, she was determined to go and demonstrate against her parents' will, and she did, with Mary, her maid. That day was Black Friday. After Black Friday, there was one massacre after another. The end of the Shah's reign was near. He tried to march towards democracy, but his departure was inevitable. The day he left, the country had the biggest celebration of its entire history. Later, things got strange, but Margie finally realized that she had to forgive. She grew up in Tehran in a middle-class Iranian family. Both her parents were politically active and supported Marxist causes against the monarchy of the last Shah. During her youth, Margie was constantly exposed to the growing brutalities of the various regimes. She witnessed many family friends being persecuted, arrested, and even murdered. She found a hero in her paternal uncle Anush, who was finally executed. As a young teen, Margie began to act out, getting in trouble with the police for breaking modesty codes and buying music banned by the regime.